So today's video is going to be a sequel to last week's video talking about the ethics of emulation, going over various scenarios of emulation and whether or not there are any negative moral implications to each action. So that was a pretty fun video to make. So I want to make a sequel talking about modding. Now, modding is pretty much a staple of PC gaming. It's the one thing about PC gaming that really makes it the definitive platform to play any video game, because you have that capability of extending the life cycle of that game so much. Look at Skyrim, for example. I mean, that's the best example that everyone can think of. Almost 10 years of this game being released, but that game's modding community is still going strong and releasing new mods to this day that fundamentally, in a lot of cases, fundamentally change the entire way the game is played. And that's the thing about modding. It's such a diverse category that it can be something as small as, you know, those tiny quality of life changes like Sky UI, which just has a little bit of a nicer interface, but the core gameplay is relatively the same. But you also have other mods that completely, fundamentally change the entire gameplay experience beyond what the developer initially intended. In the case of Skyrim, what I could think of is the survival mode mod, which adds a completely new mode to the game that wasn't there before. And, you know, you also have the texture packs that make the game visually more appealing. So modding really encompasses a wide range of different things. But what's really been in the news lately are these conversion mods that essentially convert the contents of one game into a completely different game, but you're essentially recreating the game for PC. So recently, Rockstar had a cease and desist against a mod developer that tried to put Red Dead Redemption 1 into Red Dead Redemption 2 to essentially have a playable version of the first Red Dead Redemption game, because PC gamers still do not have access to that game. 10 years since it's been released on consoles, still no PC version, and it's probably not going to happen. But Rockstar, just in case they decide to do it in the future, they don't want to have the prospect of a completely playable version of that game for free. So it's just they're protecting their intellectual property. I know a lot of people don't like that, but essentially, I mean, but that's something that they got to do what they got to do to protect their intellectual property. But at the same time, you could argue, well, why doesn't Rockstar put the damn game out on PC? We PC gamers have been begging to be able to play that game on PC. We'd be more than happy to give Rockstar money. Even though Red Dead Redemption 2 is already out, there's still people who haven't played the first one and would love nothing more than to play it. And I just think, at this point, why not just release a DLC that puts Red Dead Redemption 1 into 2? Like, because they want to focus on microtransactions. That's the thing about Rockstar. They've said single-player DLC is dead, so don't expect that to ever happen, unfortunately. And then you have other similar projects like Skyblivion and Skywind that put the original Elder Scrolls games, so you have Morrowind and Oblivion, essentially being converted into Skyrim's engine, but obviously there's a lot of work that goes into that, because they have to pretty much create their own assets into that game. So Bethesda's not really going after those projects, especially because they've actually put safeguards in place that prevent people from pirating, because in order for you to actually be able to play Skywind, you have to actually own a legal copy of Morrowind, or else the mod will not work. So Bethesda's not really going after those projects. But then you also have those mods that are intended pretty much for hacking and cheating. Remember the JTAG Xbox 360s back in the day? Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops? Remember all that hacking and cheating that was going on because of mods that were put into the Xbox console? And now if you try to go back and play one of the older Call of Duties, it's pretty much ruined because it's hacked to shit, and all these mods that are put in the game that make you invisible and you can't be killed. So it's pretty much cheaters that are cheating in a goddamn 10-year-old game, max prestiging and everything, but who cares? There's no point, because the game is old and people are still cheating in an old game that doesn't even matter anymore. Like, what? So yeah, obviously mods that completely break and ruin the game, especially when it comes to online multiplayer, I think in those cases, yeah, modding is definitely wrong in that case, when you essentially ruin the game and completely make it not fun, and just hacking and cheating and just breaking the game. That's obviously a bad example of modding that most people can pretty much agree that is not cool. Or how about this? This is a thing that happens within the modding community, is that you often have it where people re-upload mods without giving credit to the original author, or they publish it on a platform without the permission of the original creator. So for example, back in the day, Fallout 4, when modding first came out on console on the Xbox One, you had a lot of people who would re-upload mods from Nexus onto the Bethesda net so that Xbox users can play it, even if the original author made it very clear that they did not want their work to be on console. But a lot of people just decide to re-upload it on console anyway because they just wanted to do that. In a lot of cases, they straight up pretend that they created the mod and don't give credit to the original creator. So there are obviously a lot of ethical problems over there in that case, but legally, there is none. You don't own the intellectual property that you have been modding in the first place, so you really have no standing. You can make some noise, you can complain, but there's really nothing stopping any modding website from publishing any mod without the author's permission. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. So that's an incident of modding where a lot of people have a serious problem with that, because you're not crediting the original author, and you're also going against the intentions of the author if you're publishing it on different platforms that the original author does not want that mod to be published on. But at the same time, a mod is a very tricky thing, because you don't ever own the rights to the content in that mod. Since you are using copyrighted material, you're using someone else's intellectual property to create that work. But I think most of us can agree that it's pretty shitty, though, when publishers go after people, take legal action against mod creators, send out cease and desist letters, shut down mod projects, especially when in most cases no actual harm is actually being done to any of the developers or even the publisher. They just like having control over everything. They don't want anybody to have any unauthorized use of their intellectual property, because they think that damages their brand. That's really the main reason why you have so many publishers like Take-Two that take legal action against mod creators, even if they don't really harm the actual developer or actually really do anything wrong. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think there's ever an instance where mod creators are actually harming the developer and publisher, and it's morally justified for the publisher to take legal action against the mod creator? Do you think projects like Fallout 4 New Vegas, which essentially recreates Fallout New Vegas into Fallout 4's engine, do you think projects like that, well, you really are violating their intellectual property, so they should be taken down, even though those mod creators do put safeguards in to make sure that you own copies of both games? Are you still harming any of the developers of the game? Are you actually really doing anything wrong? I want to hear what you all think about it, and if you leave a good comment, you may be featured on my video at the end of the month, where I go over the past month of my YouTube channel, and I pretty much continue the conversation by looking back at the videos I've made over the past month and see what you guys had to say and give my thoughts and response to what you have to say. So be sure to leave a comment if you want to be featured in that video. Thank you guys as always for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye.